All right, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. It is the afternoon edition of the Ron G Show. And I love the days when I could do afternoon shows, and that give me a chance to take a nap from 10 o'clock morning till now because I get up so early in the morning. But I met this young man at Coach K event. He was there, and we talked a little bit, and he shifted me all the information. So I have Mr.
Yeah.
Jay Harts. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Yeah, got him on, and you know what makes this unique because part of my family on my dad's side is from Tennessee, and when
Oh,
I seen
really?
that on there, I said, "Oh wow, I like this," but they're from Nashville.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, but it's still Tennessee.
It's still Tennessee. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Well, good afternoon, sir. I'm glad that you joined us today. Tell us a little bit about
Sure.
yourself.
So my name is Jay Harts. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. What I currently do now, I am a actor, a fitness professional, and I'm also an author and spoken word artist.
Oh, yeah, you've been doing a
So
lot
I,
of things. I
it's a
read
lot.
your
Yeah,
bio.
it's a lot of things. Yes, sir.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that because when they find out the things that I do, they be telling me the same thing. You do a lot of things. I say, yeah, but I took that thing away that people say you do everything, but you're a master of none. I say, whatever you do, you're a master of.
Oh,
You
most
know,
definitely.
yeah, because that
Yes.
old saying back there, you got all these jobs, you're a master of none. You wouldn't have all them jobs if you didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah, exactly. They wouldn't be calling you and stuff if you didn't master in something. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So, what originally inspired you to pursue poetry, acting, and fitness all at once?
So fitness is basically my first love because I've been doing fitness since my athletic days in middle school and stuff. So just wanting to be good enough and to be taken seriously by coaches is what inspired me to be fit. And I didn't really have access to all the high level training that's available today. I couldn't go to D1 training or velocity training. I did everything homegrown. So what I would do is whatever my coaches would have me do, I would just do extra in my backyard and just go around the neighborhood. I would just do what I can, and it gave me an edge on competition, and I was able to do well. As far as the poetry goes, I've kind of always been really good at the English language as far as vocabulary and storytelling. So that was one of the classes that I really excelled in. But I'm more of an introvert, so I would always just write my feelings down. And so there were times when I would have disagreements with my mother, and I didn't want to be disrespectful or talk back. So instead, I would go in my room, close the door, and just started writing. It started off as just writing down how I felt, and then it turned into an art form. I started adding double entendres to it and similes and metaphors. Before you know it, I was saying full on spoken word poetry.
Mm,
And
I'm
as
glad.
far as the yeah, as far as the acting goes, I would say the poetry and fitness really opened the door for that. I never really wanted to act, but then once I saw what doors that fitness was opening and what doors that poetry was opening, I believe one hand washes the other. So I was able to slide on in.
Yeah, because you talking about your poetry reading. Your book is a contrary to popular belief, reached
Yes,
number
sir.
4 on the Amazon African American poetry.
Yes, sir.
So, what was the heart behind that book? You already stated what you did when you didn't want to disrespect your mama, but what else drove you to that?
Basically, what drove me to it is just telling the story of what I see. I mean, really, that book is just basically a documentary of what I see in the world, of things as I see it. So it hits on everything from relationships, romance, ambition, systemic discrimination, all those things that I said. So it's just basically the truth put in poetic form. So it's basically a poetic escapade. And so I would see something where they happened to me or it happened to someone else. I would see it and I would write about it and to just enlighten people because really there's no way if I wanted to sit down and enlighten the world and say, hey, this is the problems that's going on in the world and this is how we can fix it or this is what's happening, they wouldn't listen to it. But putting it in an art form to where now they're liking my rhyme scheme. They like the way I deliver the words. They're ingesting what they need to hear, and they're ingesting it with open arms.
Mm. So let's go to acting. You acted in numerous stage productions around San Antonio. What has
Yes,
been
sir.
the most memorable role so far?
So far, I guess my most memorable role has been the character I played in Karen Chatham's 16. I played the role of Gary Williams, and he was an abuser, an abusive boyfriend slash husband. He cheated on his. It was just everything that you tell your daughters not to date. That's what he was,
Mm.
and he was that in a bottle. And so I guess I played that role so good that I mean, it was almost like that play was like a soap opera because I hear people in the audience talking to the stage,
Mm.
saying stuff like, "Girl, don't trust him. Girl, shoot him again. Girl, he lying. He lying. He lying." I mean, they were into it like they were watching TV, and I'm like, "Y'all know I can hear y'all," you know.
Yeah.
And so people always bring up that when they talk about that, they always bring up their role. Say, "Oh, I didn't like you in that role. Oh, why you do that girl like that?" I said, "Oh, I just take it as oh, I must have did a good job."
You know, you're absolutely right. When they start comparing you to that character, then you're really acting for them to believe that. Because I went to go see a play not too long ago, a few months ago. I wanted to choke that dude in there. He was a real butthole.
Yeah,
But
it's like that.
I looked at it, he played his role. So
Hmm.
if it gets like that, and like you say, they shouting like, girl, I wouldn't take that from you if I was you. Now that's reaching them. And also you're hitting the audience at something that they probably went through already.
Yes, sir.
And when they see it there on stage, it comes back to them. Well, I hope they don't get too violent and jump up on the stage and drag you off. You know what I mean?
Yes,
But they
sir.
do it. Now, have you been in any films yet?
I'm actually working on a film project right now. There's a director named Michael L. Jackson. He's out of San Antonio. We're working on the film right now called Heart Cold.
Oh, so how's it different in stage acting for you compared to what you're doing now in film?
So with stage acting, it's more so you got to know the lines and the cues and hit them exactly in the right spot. And you only got one shot to do it. So if you throw your line, you mess it up. You kind of have to be a key improviser, you know, to know, hey, what happens when things go wrong? What happens when someone skips over a line? What happens when someone says something that's not even on the script? Or something happens that's not on the script? You gotta know to just keep it moving as if it is, you know. So you gotta have really key, not only knowing your lines, but knowing what happens. It really improv skills. Now, when
Yeah,
it comes to film is more so it's a little bit more technical and sophisticated and stuff. There's a lot of preparation that goes into film. So if I'm on the set for like 4 hours, setting up was probably another 4 hours, you know,
yeah,
just to get the lighting right, just to get the sound right. There's sound engineers, there's visual engineers, just to get that stuff right. But it's more so relaxed with the acting, you know, less is more in film. So how I would project on stage, I'm not gonna talk that way in film because it's not gonna look natural, you
yeah.
know. And then
Wow.
also, if you throw a line that's not that big a deal, you can just do it over. They say, okay, cut. Let's you do multiple takes.
Hmm.
So that's the key difference. And
But
in film, they feed you pretty good with the craft service. So,
yeah, they want to make sure you're alert. But you're right about one thing. I was talking to this artist one day, a singer, and I guess he thought we were filming it, we could retake and all that stuff. And he said, "What happens if I mess up?" I said, "You keep on going." But I said, "Let me tell you something. We need to being around bands and that my whole life.
hmm
Nobody knows you messed up except for yourself.
except except for you,
Everybody out in the audience think it's perfect. You don't even, so you never show that you messed up. Never show that you're scared. Just
never.
keep on flowing. And then when you get finished, say, oh my God, that I screwed that one up. But you go talk to the fans, I think you did great. Just like on some movie sets, I listened to many actors and actresses when they said they botched a line, but the director kept that in there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they kept it in there because you ad lib. It was perfect. Because
It's
sometimes you get
perfect.
away with it.
You get away with it because sometimes what's written down is not necessarily what's best, you know.
Yeah.
And you find that out all the time. Like there's never been a time in a play where somebody didn't mess up. Every single play that's ever happened has never gone perfectly. You know, somebody messed up somehow, but the audience may have got a laugh out of it. And
Mm-hmm.
the audience, that wasn't meant for that to be funny, but it ended up being funny because hey, somebody messed up and they didn't know it. They just thought, hey, this is part of it. But really, we winging it. We just as surprised as the audience is. Difference is we got our poker face on. As
Yeah.
far as film goes, when they see something, oh, that was the wrong line, but hey, say that instead. This
Yeah.
this goes a little bit better. Actually like that better. And there's been plenty of times where they were like, hey, Jay, I really like the way you said that. That wasn't where I wanted you to say it, but actually that sounds better. And it depends on who it is. Like a really good director will kind of give you that freedom a little bit. Some directors are, hey, say it exactly the way that I told you to say it.
It's just like I did a commercial here for a cable company years ago. It was me and this other lady doing it, and she kept on forgetting her line and everything. So they said, "Cut, y'all just take a break." I didn't know the mics were still hot.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So I said, now what you need to do, you need to say it like this. She turned around and looked at me. I said, look here, this is the second commercial I did my whole life, and I'm scared just as you are. But this is what we need to do to make sure we get it. So I said, so do this. She did that. So we rehearsed that we was going along and all that, getting everything together. And I said, okay, we're ready. I said, it's already done. I said, what you mean? We had the cameras and lights and everything on y'all while y'all was talking. That was great. We're going to use that right there. I said, you kidding me? So sometimes you definitely got to
Yeah.
watch. You got to watch what you're doing because in this
Yeah,
industry,
cause
you got to
you're
look out for,
mic'd up the whole time.
yeah. And people don't realize that.
You don't realize it because once you get there, of course the mics are hidden and stuff, but you forget that it's on. You forget that you're mic'd up. So
Yeah.
if you're deep down, if you're deep down really a jerk, and you know how we say stuff out loud, we say our thoughts out loud sometimes. Oh, everybody's gonna know.
Yeah.
Everybody
A
on the
lot
set is
of
gonna know. So
politicians and all of them got caught with a hot mic. What? And they scrambled to cover
hmm
up what they meant to say. No, they said what they meant to say.
no, they said what they meant because they thought no one could hear him. He might have been by himself using the bathroom and said, I
Yeah.
can't stand these people.
Yeah.
These
All
people get
that.
on. I can't wait till I'm done. So they're like, oh, you know.
Well, guess what? You're
So you
not
definitely
coming
got to
back.
watch what you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
Bye.
to have a little bit more cool because in the area of in acting, what I learned is the people that's hard to work with, you don't get a lot of work,
Mm.
and word travels fast. Like as big as the world is, the world becomes a lot smaller when the higher you go up. So when you get into the acting, when you get into coaching sports and stuff, it's amazing how small and connected everything is. And just
Yeah.
one mistake, 10 people are gonna know.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Speaking about that, you were featured on Great Day SA for both acting and poetry. What was that
Yes, sir.
experience like?
Oh, it was a very good experience. I was actually shocked. I honestly don't know how they found me. Apparently, the producer called me and he said that he got my book from someone in his book club. I guess Ken's Five has a book club, and they looked at my book and they wanted me to come in. So I was able to come in, and they treated us with really good respect. Had water for us. Each of the news anchors came and introduced themselves and all that. So it was a very good experience, and I felt that they really valued what it is that we do. I really appreciate them for that.
Oh, and then also Telemundo highlighted your
Yes,
success
sir.
coaching with Hispanic athletes.
Yes, sir.
What does that recognition means to you?
It means a lot to me because with Telemundo, you don't think of African Americans. You know, you think of mostly the Hispanics, but the school that I coach at, it was a mixture. So it's a mixture of both whites and Hispanic. A lot of more so Hispanics stuff. But I was able to go to that school and bring in a culture that wasn't there before, and they picked up on it. And to be featured on that, it just meant a whole lot. It meant that what I'm doing out here is working. Because what I'm
Hmm.
doing is never just solely for my own purpose. It's always to empower others to be the best that they can be, to be
Yeah.
the best version of themselves. So be the best version of themselves athletically, academically, and it just so happened that the girl that they covered, one of my athletes, she had great athletic success. She had great academic success, and even fine art success. And so they take it and say, hey, whatever you do, be the best at it. But to be featured on Telemundo, that was kind of the spark, and that really set the tone for that year. Because that
Yeah.
year we actually ended up winning the state championship that year.
Oh man, that's
So
great.
I really do appreciate them for that, and I just thought that it foreshadowed a lot of greatness.
Okay. Get this off of here. All right, let's go to fitness and coaching. You're known for blending artistry with fitness.
Yes, sir.
What's your fitness philosophy when working with clients?
With working with clients, it's just everything that you want is on the other side of discipline. And so what I tell them with my philosophy is they might not be in the best shape. I tell them you have to do the things that don't require talent to get where you want to be. So yeah, you're probably not walking in the door at 15% body fat or 10% body fat or six pack abs. But if you can step outside your comfort zone, that takes no talent. That takes no fitness, no type of fitness skills to do that. Waking up early in the morning, watching what you eat, drinking water,
Mm.
trying to eat as natural as possible, and to an extent, preparing your own foods. That right there can set you up. So you're willing to be uncomfortable for a small amount of time, whether it's 6 months or a year, so that the next 5 to 10 years of your life can be better. That's always my philosophy. One day at a time.
Okay. So, how do you help people stay motivated, especially those who feel sick and discouraged?
I I try to let them believe that we're all human beings. So we're all gonna have some days that we don't feel so good. You are allowed to get sick. You are allowed to be tired. But what you're not allowed to do is use it as an excuse to just bow out. You know. And so what I try to instill in them is let's make a small goal. All right, you don't feel the best right now. That's fine. Right now, your body's kicking your butt. You're not ready to go into the gym. You're not ready to go out on the track. Let's get 10 minutes of walking in today. Let's go out, walk for 10 minutes. You do that well enough, let's boost it up to 20 minutes. Next day, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. So now we're taking little bitty increments because it looks like we've made these big leaps, we ain't never jumped really big. We never made big jumps. We just took a bunch of little steps.
Mm.
And that's all greatness is. Greatness is a bunch of little things done very well. And that's all it is.
I'm glad you said that. One thing that you said that I hear from a lot of fitness coaches is excuse. There's no excuse. People will come up with 40 different excuses, but the time it took for them to come to excuses, they could have been doing something.
You
But
could you could have been doing something about it. And
yeah,
it's even, with my regular clients, I have to be a little bit more softer with them because of course they're not competing for anything. They just want to look good, feel good, and live a good life. You know. For my athletes, however, when they come to me with excuses, I have to be a little bit more harder on them. And I just tell them, hey, the other team doesn't care. You got a headache today. They don't care.
yeah,
I mean, it's a harsh truth, but it is the truth that they need to hear because not only am I trying to win championship with them, I'm sending kids to college with scholarships and stuff. And
Yes.
at that next level, those coaches don't want to hear that. You got a headache? Okay, pop a Tylenol, let's keep it moving. You know, that's how it is the next level. As far as with my clients, my regular clients who are not athletes, just tell them you cannot be mad at results you didn't get from work that you did not do because plenty of bodies were built on sick days. They were sick, didn't feel so good. That's the time to go to the gym. Now, I'm not saying if you vomiting or something, but you
Yeah.
just might not feel good that day. But if you can crawl your way inside that gym and do something, something is better than nothing. I always say 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing.
Hey, there you go. When you said that, I relate to Michael Jordan that time. He had a fever. He went out there and
Hmm.
played and hit 50 points, 50 some points that game, but
Yeah.
he wasn't feeling it. But being a professional, that's some things you have to do. But we realize that the people that you train are not professionals, but maybe in their own way they are professionals because they want to be the best they could be that better person. And sometimes that better person have to go out and do things when they're not feeling well. We're not up like for me for the past week, I've been feeling like crap. The allergies been kicking my butt. But then again, nobody can see it. But as soon as this thing is
Right.
off, I'm taking my medicine. I can't sleep at night. My nose is stopped up.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning tired, but as soon as I cut that camera and mic on, okay, I'm in professional mode.
Yeah,
but
it's go time
yeah.
because what people can take from this is that we all have our days. We all have our days, but the thing is, what fitness teaches you, if I can be uncomfortable, like waking up at 5:30 a.m. That's a little bit uncomfortable. Waking up before the sun a little bit uncomfortable. Going in there, hitting squats, jump roping, doing all these sprints, that's uncomfortable. When the real life challenges come, I can handle that because hey, I spent my mornings, I eat uncomfortable for breakfast in the morning. So it fixes your mindset and
Hmm.
you're able to think back on stuff. When things get hard, I'm not saying they're gonna think back on the time where they were running a mile and almost didn't finish, but they kept pushing through. But that trains the mind to first off finish what you start, and two, don't give up. There's not too
Yeah.
many things in the world that can bother me because I wake up in the morning and I do what's uncomfortable every single day. So that's not too much that can really bother me in the world.
See, like I feel you on that one, because sometimes I'm already committed to do something, and that day comes around, and I don't. I said, "Golly, Ron, why'd you do this? You don't feel like doing
Yeah.
it." So I get up in the morning and I go in the garage and check and make sure all my equipment is packed and everything's done, and I come back in the house, make a cup of coffee, and I sit there and debate.
Hmm.
And I debate, and myself will tell me, Ron, you know better than this. Get your butt out there and load that equipment up and get out where you're supposed to be. But once you
Yeah,
get started, a lot of people don't realize, once you get started, then everything falls into place. Sometimes just that initial start.
the hardest thing is to start because there's so much. I don't know what it is about human nature, but there's so much natural anxiety that we have to start anything, whether it is to start school, to start your own business, to start working out. We constantly think, what if this doesn't work out? What if it doesn't? Then when we started, we see that, hey, it's not that bad. All we need to do is start. Because once you start, I'm not gonna say you're on autopilot, but you got your mode going. So
Yeah.
all you gotta do is push through now. All I gotta do, I'm in the gym. I got in the gym. I'm here now. Now all I gotta do is push through.
Yeah, that's
I started my business. I got my business started. Now all I gotta do is push through. So really the thing we want to do is just to get people started, to get people to take that leap. And a lot of people don't take that leap because they're afraid to fail. But what they don't understand is that's the price that comes with doing anything new. Is
Mm-hmm.
that there is a chance that you might not get it. But I always say if I found out I was wrong, oh, that means I just learned a lesson. I
There
just
you
learned
go.
something. That means I
Yeah.
learned something that I didn't know before. Because to know something that you don't know before, you have to be wrong at some point. You can't always be right. The person
Yeah.
that's always right is probably a person that's broke, you know. But a person that's thriving and moving up, they were wrong about a lot of stuff, but they learned. And then they took their lesson and applied it to what they were doing.
Just like
So,
you said, if you fail, that's learning a lesson. So when you do it again, you won't do that again. At least I hope you don't.
yeah,
Some people
man.
may continue. How many times have you done it? 10 times. Don't do it. Let's move on to community and your future goals.
hmm
How important is community to your journey and your work?
Community is very big because one, I want to reach out to people and let them know that no matter where you're from, your dreams and your goals are valid if you're willing to put in the work. So I want to reach out to the teenagers that's coming up, to the 5 and 6 year olds that's coming up, to even the people that are older, in their 20s, 30s, 40s. Reach out to them, even though you're not where you think you should be. It ain't over till it's not over till it's over. As long as you still got breath in your body, there's still some things that you can be doing to pursue your purpose. So community is very important because we're all connected. And I've learned that just from being here during my time here in San Antonio that everything is connected. You
Yeah.
know, especially when you're good at things, and it's good to know people who do what. You know, I've learned that from going to Coach K's events and stuff, from going to um, Lika Cleaver's events. A lot of things are connected, and community is very important because no one does things 100% by themselves. At
Yeah.
some point, you need help.
You are so right about that. So what's next for Jay Harts? Any upcoming projects you're excited about besides that movie you're working on?
Yes, sir. So, working on a project right now that's going to happen next month, December 14th, at Karen Wagner High School. It's this play called Yukua. It's called the Revolution Continues. Yeah, Yukua, the Revolution Continues, and it's put on by the Liberation Center. So the director for that play is Candace um, Candace Walker, and
Okay.
so basically it's a play about the African American struggle, and it's basically an empowerment play. So it goes way back to the slavery days. Then it goes to the civil rights era, and then it actually goes into the future into like 2050, 2042.
Mm,
And so basically, it's a play that looks back, but also it sets the tone for what's to come for us in the future.
okay. If you could give one message of inspiration to someone listening right now, what would it be?
I I would say be determined. No matter if someone believes in you or not, whether you have 1,000 people behind you clapping you on or nobody clapping, it's just you in the mirror. You are the common denominator for everything that good happens to you. Everything that happened to you that was good, you were there. So you are the deciding factor whether something happens for you or not. And just to stay humble. We're all just one catastrophe away from being homeless on the street.
Yeah.
Poverty is a one size fit all. Doesn't Poverty does not discriminate.
Yeah.
So be hungry and determined, but at the same time be humble and give thanks to those who came before you.
Wow, that is so true. All right, in closing, let people know how they can get a hold of you.
You can get a hold of me at Instagram. I'm on Instagram at JD Harts 34, and I'm on Facebook at JD Harts.
All right. Mr. Hart, it was a privilege to have you on today. You are,
Yes, likewise.
when I first met you, it was something else. And I seen you at Coach K events a few times and everything.
Yes.
But this time around, I got out, started talking to everybody. But, you know, she got another event coming up on the 31st of January. And
Hmm.
so I'm looking forward to that. But anytime
Oh, yeah.
you got anything you need to want to get out or anything, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me.
Yes, sir.
All right. You take care, and we'll talk to you